Viewers, Jessica Stone is now joining us live from Washington, D.C. Hi, Jessica. U.S. President Joe Biden has addressed the nation from the Oval Office. The last time he did so was on October 20th last year. Take us through the key highlights of Biden's speech, where he prominently called for unity, and also tell us what is the overall mood like in the United States of America after the assassination attempt on Trump.
Well, President Biden was really trying to speak to the moment. As you mentioned, he did take advantage of a rare primetime address to the American public, spending about 6 minutes reading off the teleprompter, urging Americans to lower the temperature of political discourse and saying that he will do the same. We have seen that the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, I should say, is taking down some of its ads in the next couple of days. And the president spent some significant time talking about the history of political violence in the country. You mentioned some of the highlights of that, the shootings of Gabby Gifford, of the attempted kidnapping plot on Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, the attempted kidnapping and/or abuse or assault on Nancy Pelosi, the former House Speaker, but her husband was the one who actually took the blows. And he talked about the reality that we can't allow ourselves to normalize this kind of political violence and instead resolve our differences as Americans at the ballot box, not with bullets. And he asked every American to treat each other with respect. And I would say these are the right words for the time. These are certainly words of comfort and encouraging us to remember what we have in common as opposed to what we don't have in common. But the reality is we have a very politically divided country. It's very polarized. Political discourse for the last few years has meant, in some cases, the ending of conversations between family members, the ending of conversations of a political nature between friends, between neighbors, between spouses. It is a very polarized time, and it's unclear whether the urging, which is happening on the Trump campaign side as well, and a variety of politicians of both stripes, whether or not it will make the impact that these politicians seek.
Absolutely, Jessica. Also, give us a rundown of what's the latest on Trump's condition right now. We do know that he's landed in Milwaukee for the RNC convention.
Right. And he said on Truth Social earlier today that he had planned to take 2 days off, but instead decided that he would come to Milwaukee and keep his regularly scheduled plans. He's due to speak to the convention and thus to the American people watching the convention on Thursday. He's also due to announce his running mate. So he is keeping his schedule, arguing that he should do so to really prove that this type of political violence isn't the right course of action. And he argued in announcing his change of plans on Truth Social that I cannot allow a shooter or potential assassin to force change to scheduling or anything else. Therefore, I will be leaving for Milwaukee as scheduled. So the president pretty resolute there in terms of how he is going forward with his campaign and with a really major moment in American politics, taking on the nomination of his party, announcing his running mate, and really kicking off the last few months left of the national presidential election.
Jessica, the RNC also takes place just a day after the assassination attempt on the former U.S. President Donald Trump. Now, the Secret Service says that the security situation will not be changed at the convention in Milwaukee. Talk to us more about how this assassination attempt is changing the conversation around security for these two presidential contestants.
Well, as you heard in President Biden's remarks there, he has real concerns about what happened with the Secret Service, what happened with the shooter who appears to have acted alone. But there are a lot of investigations going on into what Secret Service did and didn't do, whether or not they should have had that rooftop covered. Because remember, it was only 180 meters away from the presidential candidate. There was a clear line of sight to former President Donald Trump, which is something that security typically prevents from happening. And there were even reports on the ground of people at the rally seeing this young man, this 20-year-old by the name of Matthew Crooks, who's now been identified by authorities, climbing up the walls of the building to get ready and into position in order to fire those shots. And yet those reports didn't make it to Secret Service in time to act. So there there's plenty to investigate here. There's plenty of conversation around increasing security at the convention. The Wisconsin governor has asked for a larger perimeter around the convention space in which people with weapons are not allowed to go in because, of course, the right to bear arms is a key part of the Republican Party platform in particular, and there may well be people coming to the convention who desire to be able to carry. That said, there is definitely a conversation around increasing security at both of these events and making sure that the Secret Service, which is a key player in those security conversations, finds out what happened, what went wrong, essentially, during that rally and corrects it for the future.
Absolutely. Coming to the security situation right now, Jessica, before the Oval Office address, Biden gave a news conference where he said that he was ordering an independent security review with the Secret Service. However, it is unclear as to who will be conducting the probe. Do you have any information on that?
No, I'm afraid I don't have any information on who will be conducting that probe. But typically in these types of independent probes, there's often an outside law firm retained or asked to participate. There could be an independent investigative body or investigative agency used here, but it is the case that it's going to be tricky for the FBI to be part of that investigation or leading that investigation. They're already investigating what happened to the former President Donald Trump. It's unclear who's going to be that independent body. We'll have to get more information and get back to you on that.
Right, Jessica, thank you so much for joining us on the show with your insights. We'll, of course, be tracking whatever comes in Trump's assassination attempt with you very closely.
You bet.